Hi everybody, I just wanted to make a quick video covering how navigation works in SwiftUI. So I think the navigation in SwiftUI is very powerful, but it's also quite difficult to understand. So I just want to start off at a basic level and cover how the navigation stack works, how to use it with navigation links, and then slowly we'll move on to more advanced subjects like navigation destination and navigation path. Okay, so we can just get started by launching Xcode, going File, New, Playground. And then all we need is a blank playground, and we can just call it anything, so like navigation, for example. So after you've opened a new playground file, if you go down to the video description, you'll see this code, and you can just copy and paste that into your playground. So I just want to get started with the most basic form of navigation, and the first element that I want to introduce is one called the navigation stack, like that. And the navigation stack is defined on your root view, and it basically just allows you to add and remove other views on top of your root view. It'll all make more sense in a wee minute. I can show you an example. So within the navigation stack, we can define a navigation link, like that. And you can think of a navigation link as just being like a button that would trigger some form of navigation. So I'll just say tap me. And that's the text of the link. And then we can define some text here, saying detail. So this text here is what will be shown after the navigation link has been tapped. So if I just run this, I can show you. So you can see we're plain view here with the text tap me, and then we get taken to the detail screen. The next thing that I want to introduce is something called navigation destination. And navigation destination is just a view modifier that we define within our navigation stack. And it allows us to pretty much tell the navigation stack what type of view we want to present for a particular type of data. So if it received like a color, what type of view should we show for that? If it received a string, what type of view should we show for that? So we can get started by deleting this. And then here, we'll pass a value of test, like that. So this is still the text of the navigation link. This is what it will display on screen, and this is the value it will pass. It will pass a string value with the string test in it. So we can define dot navigation destination, like that. So what type is this for? It's for a string. And what's the destination? So we can just hit enter here and say new value, and then within here we can just do text. This is a string destination, and then we can put in the new value, like that, and then hit run. So what we're saying here is when we receive a string, this is what we should do. Basically, we should go to a new view with this text. So we hit the button, and as expected, it pops a new view. This is a string destination with the new value that we received, which is test. And this is really powerful because, like I was saying earlier on, we can define a destination for each data type. So if say we wanted to have another navigation link here, and then we called it something like red, and then sent a value as color.red, and then we can just copy this navigation destination down here. The data type here will be color, then we can just put new value here. So this will just set the background color of the new view to whatever color we receive. In this case, it will be red. So we hit run, and then we can tap red, and we're taken to a new view with the red background color. And the only requirement of this navigation destination is whatever value that you pass in here needs to conform to the Hashable protocol. So if you had some like custom model, for example, that you had created, you would need to conform to Hashable, and then you could trigger these navigation destinations and pass in your model. The other thing to say as well is this navigation destination modifier doesn't need to go like directly on the navigation link. So I could have like other elements here. I could just have like random text, and then you'll see that these links still work as well. as long as these navigation destination modifiers are defined within the stack. The next thing I want to show you is the navigation path, and the navigation path allows us to manage the state of this navigation stack through a property. So we can just define our navigation path property here. So if we do at state and then var, and we can call it path, and then equals navigation path. And then here, when we're creating the navigation stack, we can pass in the path like that. So we're binding the path to the navigation stack. I'll just show you a simple example just now. If I get rid of these navigation links and I create a button instead, and I call this something like show string, and then for the button action, all I need to do is call path.append, and then I can set the value as whatever. So I can set the value as test and then hit run. And you can see that we've got the text show string, and then when we tap that, this navigation destination modifier gets triggered and it takes us to a new view with the text we expected. So you can see how by using this navigation path we can avoid using the navigation links. So this would be equivalent to something like that. One of the real benefits of using navigation path is that it allows us to trigger navigation events from subviews. So I can show you a quick example of that just now. Clear out this button just now, and then we can get rid of this navigation destination as well. And then if we just copy this down here and we create a custom subview here, so something like, we'll just call it something really creative like custom view. And then here we can create a binding variable and call it path, navigation path, and this will be passed in from the super view, so it will be passed in from this view into our subview. And then here we can just create like a simple body pretty much, and I'll just create a button calling it show string, and then we can call the same path.append test, and then from here we can call our custom view and then pass in the path. So then from this subview, we then trigger this navigation destination on the super view. So you can see that we get the text show string from the subview, and then when we tap that, this navigation destination is triggered and we're taken to the expected view. This is really powerful in like a real world app, where if you were shown like a list of elements, say you had a list of custom cells, you had a button on the cell, when that particular button was tapped, you would want to trigger some sort of navigation. So here's a slightly more complicated example. We've got our own custom struct here called food, and this conforms to hashable. As we were saying earlier on, it needs to conform to that. And then here, this is our main view, the list view, that's what we're showing here. This has just an array of food, and then it's got a list, and we pass the navigation path into the cell. So we pass it into this cell here, food cell, and then here, just to keep things simple, we've just got a button, and then when that button's tapped, we then trigger the navigation, which will then trigger this navigation destination on the super view. That will then display this food detail view, so you can see when we tap it, it all works.